Zelda series has quite a lot of memorable characters intertwined within the story, some of which can be unforgettable. I mean, we've had the good, the bad, the ugly, and just about all in between. So picking the top best was, well, it was difficult. One rule about this list, Link will not appear here because if the character is supposed to represent the player, then there's no real personality within the fourth wall. So, sorry Link fans, but hey, he does get major points for looking like a badass in white tights and getting shit done. So without further ado, top 10 Legend of Zelda characters. Possibly one of the most helpful recurring characters in the series, Malon is a rancher from Lon Lon Ranch, daughter of Talon, and one of the few female characters to not become a person of major importance in the storyline. So what makes Malon so great? Well, for anyone who has played a significant amount of Zelda games, Malon is actually very useful, but I'm going to strictly discuss her Ocarina of Time appearance. First appearing in Ocarina of Time, she teaches Link Epona's song and helps you wake up Talon so you can sneak into the royal gardens. She also is very happy to see Link, leading to some to think a possible love interest, although this hasn't been proven. There's a fairly plausible theory that Link from Ocarina of Time and Malon eventually get married, and that their descendant is Link from Twilight Princess. Considering that Link is seen as a rancher and is the owner of Twilight Princess's version of Epona makes this theory quite believable. Make of that what you will. On the face of it, Dark Link has no real personality. He's either been a boss of little significance or an optional challenge at the end of the game. However, he does get major points for simply being a dark clone of our hero. He's an obstacle Link must face to rid himself of any evil. This is especially shown in Twilight Princess, where the light spirit shows our protagonist what will happen if he is tempted by the dark power of the Hue Shadow in the form of Dark Link. Not only that, he is Link's perfect equal. In Ocarina of Time and Zelda 2, his boss fight has brilliant coding to where Dark Link will be as strong as Link is at the time of the fight. So if you get to him in 3 hearts, first off, good job. But if you manage to do it, he'll be a pushover. But as for 100% runs, he can easily be one of the most challenging bosses out there. The perfect, not necessarily foe, but challenge Link must face on his quest. A mask once used in black magic hexing rituals thousands of years ago. Majora's Mask takes the 8th place on this list. When the mischievous Skull Kid steals the mask, it begins to corrupt him, causing him to curse and prank various characters in the game. It also has the power to control the moon to slowly crash into Termina. It quickly becomes apparent that there is much more to this mask than meets the eye. Everything is nothing more than a game to this thing. The mask evidently knows nothing but fun and games and constantly seeks people to play with. When talking to the children of the moon, it's clear that the mask has no idea what it's doing is wrong. It's all just another twisted game. The creepy thing about Majora's Mask is that it's just a mask. This illustrates that it's not relatable in any sense. It has no emotions, no pity, no mercy, just an overpowering destruction force, hell-bent on achieving its goal of annihilation. The fight with this thing is truly remarkable. A combination of intimidation, insanity, and rage all into one. It's the ultimate evil, no gloating, no cockiness, just getting on with it in its own daunting fashion.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Ravio is a coward and a lazy character. He runs the Ravio shop, which was previously Link's house. Link can buy or rent some items to help him complete dungeons and aid him on his quest. Even though Ravio is the contrast of Link, he has a very kind heart just like him. He carries items and weapons which he rents to Link, and later on he offers to buy items from him. Ravio also cares for his homeland, just like his counterpart. He was a faithful servant of Loreal's princess, which is Princess Hilda, until he realized the plans of Hilda and her desire to steal Hyrule's Triforce. After Yuga, Ganon, and Princess Hilda are defeated and Princess Zelda freed, Ravio enters Lorule and is revealed that he is the Lorulian counterpart of Link. He's technically a good version of Dark Link. Ravio successfully convinces Lorule's princess that by stealing the Triforce would only bring out the worst in Lorule, and then Link and Zelda return to their own world. After Zelda and Link wish on the Triforce to restore Lorule's Triforce, Ravio and Hilda can be seen in Sacred Realm. Ravio comforts Hilda as the Princess of Lorule cries and gives thanks to the Princess and Hero of Hyrule. How to sum it up? Ravio starts out as a greedy coward, but after witnessing and aiding the Hero of Hyrule on his quest, Ravio learns how to stick up for himself and finds the courage he needs to stop his beloved princess from causing more pain and suffering. It takes a real man to do that. The Resident Exposition Fairy. No, not that one. No. No! Yes, that one. Although she serves the same purpose as Navi, their personalities are rather different. Tattle only reluctantly joins Link, and initially doesn't even care what happens to him. She interrupts gameplay a little less often than Navi did, and with a muted bell ringing sound instead of Navi's listen sound. She starts off the game resenting Link, working with him against her will, while blaming him for being separated from her brother and believing him to be completely incompetent. As the game goes on, she starts to warm up to him, and trust in his abilities. By the end of the game, she's willing to literally go to the moon and back for Link, and is on the verge of tears when Link finally departs from Termina at the end of it all. This proves that underneath her rough exterior, there's a heart of gold. Originally, she was only looking out for her brother and the Skull Kid. As time goes on, she realizes the damage Skull Kid did to Termina, and sides with Link to take him down, even if they were friends before. Tattle would rather help defeat her loved ones to stop Armageddon than live with a dirty conscience forever. That takes guts. Zelda's role has changed over the course of the Zelda series, from being a reincarnated goddess to a princess to a sage, yet her duty is always the same: aid the hero of legend. She is very wise. There's a reason why she holds a Triforce of Wisdom, for the most part, but her personality changes throughout the series as well as her title. While more playful in Skyward Sword, she appears mature, serious, and collected in Twilight Princess. Nonetheless, she remains the iconic figure of the Zelda series. Spirit Tracks is one of those titles that is greatly underrated in my eyes, one of the main reasons being Zelda's featured incarnation. While Zelda can be very wise and insightful in this game, she possesses a childish personality to counter it. She is probably the only Zelda to not stay calm under pressure, especially with such an obvious fear of rats. Despite that, she kept the game from becoming boring at any given moment, and her ability to possess phantoms was exceedingly useful. They should try this with Breath of the Wild. Can you imagine Zelda being your companion again? That would make history. What happens when you take a flamboyant, poetic psychopath and put him in a Zelda game? You get Ghirahim. Ghirahim is what Kefka is to Final Fantasy. This incredibly insane villain that is as flamboyant as he is dangerous. He's beaten by Link no less than 3 times. He has his master destroyed in the present time, failed to stop Zelda from going back in time, and despite all of this, he has enough determination to get what he wants at the end. Whenever he's on screen, it's quite a show. He always seems on edge, and you never truly feel like you know what he'll do next. One moment he's being poetic, next he's sneaking up behind you. Then he'll try to lick the back of your ear, and then he's stripping and fighting you. That's odd to say the least. And that's why we love him. One of the best Zelda villains ever, the usurper King Zant marches his way on the 3rd spot on this list. And he certainly deserves it. Out of all the villains in the series, few have managed to measure up to the amount of sheer intimidation this guy gives out. Just take a look at Zant's outfit. Long, black robes with a strange, grotesque helmet gives off the impression of a towering demon who knows nothing of mercy. And yet he hides something even worse behind his mask. That doesn't look healthy, sir. What really ticks him over the edge is his real personality. Throughout most of the game, he is a calm, collected ruler who, if you crossed, you died. Simple as. But when Link and Midna finally catch him in the Palace of Twilight, Zant's personality drastically changes, and he goes absolutely insane due to his undescribable obsession with power. From a ruthless, intimidating ruler to a psychotic, immature lunatic, Zant is exactly what the Zelda series needed. The leader of the Gerudos, the king of thieves, and the ruler of all darkness. Ganondorf was the first to enter the Sacred Realm and claim the Triforce, and with his new added power, he took control over Hyrule and plunged it into darkness. He is the only character in the whole series to truly show each attribute of the Triforce. In Ocarina of Time, he showed his wisdom by waiting secretly in the shadows for 7 years for Zelda to show herself, just like a player in a game of chess. Twilight Princess is where he shows his power by taking over Hyrule Castle, possessing Zelda, killing Midna, and then challenging Link to a one-on-one duel. And finally Hyrule Warriors, where he shows off his courage by reclaiming the Gerudo Desert with nothing but Zant and Ghirahim by his side. Not only is he the best villain in the Zelda series, but video games in general. Let me just say this. I love Midna. She is easily the best companion in all of Zelda history. She may start off a bit selfish and self-indulgent, not really caring what happens to you and mostly just using you, but she develops as a character and grows to care about Link and the fate of Hyrule alike. She will even go as far as to help stop the forces of Twilight, even though she's from the Twilight herself. When you actually learn about Midna's backstory, her lack of care for Hyrule and Link at the beginning of the game is understood and forgiven. Probably the part where I found out how much I care about Midna is when she's dying on your back and you desperately run to Hyrule Castle in hopes of saving her life. If a character in a video game can cause so much emotion to the player to where she annoys you, but then you're desperate to save her life, well then you have one of the best characters in video game history. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.